I have a fun surprise for you. So let's chat about weight loss. I want some company for this. So I'm doing a 5-day weight loss jumpstart challenge, and I'm gonna tell you all about it. I'm really excited about it. I was really excited also when I was gaining the 7 pounds during quarantine because it's kind of fun to feast, to go a little unconscious with our eating. But I also love the part where we get back on track, where we decide how we want to fuel our bodies and all of that. So I figured that while I'm doing it, I would invite you to do it with me. I actually have been, I've already lost about 5 of my 7 pounds. And as I've been doing this over the last few weeks, I thought this would be a really fun thing for other people to do, because I know that for myself, I have a lot of drama. As I have had in the past, I'll say that, a lot of drama around weight loss. And I have learned a lot of great things over the years. This is one of the things that I used to help people do all the time when I practiced medicine. So I would help people lose weight and help them quit smoking. And I feel like the tools that I've learned in the past few years are going to take it to the next level. So I'm really excited to kind of incorporate all of that, the sort of mindset behind weight loss, along with the science and some really practical tools that work. So if you are like me and you gained some weight during quarantine, you got off your schedule, you got off your mojo, you kind of were living in survival mode, listen, there's nothing wrong with that. That is how it is sometimes, mama. And I think what I have done to myself in the past, and what I see a lot of people doing, is we just beat ourselves up because we do that. And then we talk to ourselves not very nicely, and we say things to ourselves that we would never say to our daughter if she gained weight during quarantine, right? And that approach does not work. Actually, that approach makes it worse. That approach, because after you shame yourself, you feel awful and you feel kind of guilty and you feel some shame. And you know what you do when you feel shame? You want to go eat. So that approach really does not work. So I am going to teach you some really cool, simple things that will help you change your mindset, first of all, around yourself, but even maybe more importantly, change your mindset around weight loss. Because I think, there's both camps. There's like people who get so into that it becomes obsessive and they don't have a healthy mindset around it. They maybe not lose too much, but get too obsessed about losing. Some people do lose too much. But there's also what I find mostly in my age group of people is that then we just give up. So if you've ever given up on the journey, let me know, because I have before. You just go, oh my gosh, this is so not worth it. I feel like everything's working against me. No matter what I try, it doesn't work. I try to eat less, that doesn't work. Like, we get in this mindset of like, well, it just doesn't matter. Now, the deepest part of you knows it matters, because it matters for your health. You don't feel well when you're indulging all the time and overeating and not taking care of yourself. We know it matters, but we tell ourselves it doesn't matter so that we don't have to, feel bad. And either way is not healthy for us. So what I want to hopefully show you next week, I'm going to do a series of 5 videos, 1 video a day. When you sign up for this challenge, you'll get an email right away that will give you the protocol. Now, when you see the protocol, it's the simplest protocol there is for weight loss. The simplest. I didn't say it was the easiest. I said it was the simplest. You'll get the protocol. You'll know what you need to do next week, okay? It's really simple, but it isn't easy. And then your mind is going to go, oh, well, you're going to have a lot of reactions to it. So we're going to spend the next week talking about the science behind your hormones and why it's so hard for people, especially my age, to lose weight. Our hormones are kind of get all stacked against us, but what we don't realize is that we have control of our hormones. We feel like we don't, but we do. And I will teach you how to get your hormones back in control. with food, by the way. And then we're going to get your mindset back under control. I'm going to teach you some really healthy ways to, cut your desire for bad food in half, if that feels possible. So how many of you would like to not want to have chocolate chip cookies every second? We're going to talk about how to decrease your desire for things that you don't want and increase your desire for things that you do want. So that's really, really important. We're going to talk about how to plan for what you want to do while you're in your right mind, right? Not like you show up at, some kind of special event and you're like, oh my word, I have to have this and this and this and this. And if you don't have a plan for what you wanted to do tomorrow about food or the next day about food, then you end up just going unconscious and eating whatever, right? So the other thing that I'm going to teach you is how to make exceptions to your protocol. So I'm not saying that you never want to have exceptions. Of course you do. You want to say like, hey, I'm going to a birthday party like I'm going to today. You want to make an exception for that and you want to allow yourself to eat that. That's fine. You planned for it already. What we want to stop is just the unconscious eating. How many times have you gone to the pantry and went, how did I just eat a half a bag of chips? Or oh my gosh, how did I just eat a half a tub of ice cream? We do this. We all do this. So what we want to do is for the next week or so, we want to bring it all to consciousness. We just want to bring it to consciousness and really become aware of what we're doing and of how it's affecting us. The other thing that I'm going to teach you how to do is when you do allow yourself to have exceptions, I want you to really be conscious of how you feel. Do you love how you feel after you had birthday cake? Or in my case, 7 slices of sourdough bread. I got into making sourdough bread over quarantine. Gained about, I would say in 2 months, 7 pounds. So almost a pound a week in 2 months. And that's what we're going to take off. If you follow this protocol, you'll take off about a pound a week for however long you do it. I suggest that you do it until you get to where you want to go. We're going to do 5 days together unless you decide to join me. We actually are studying this in Life Mentoring School this month. Now, let me tell you something about trying to make change like this, y'all. This is what I used to do when I helped people as a physician stop smoking and lose weight. You're going to be tempted to look to your past to find evidence for how you're going to do with this challenge. How many of you have already just said to yourself, this is probably not going to work. I've done this 100 times. Raise your hand, raise your virtual hand, say, I confess, yes. You tell yourself, I'm not good at this. I've done it 100 times and it doesn't work for me. Here's what I will tell you about anything like this. You only don't succeed if you quit. So what I have decided to do is I just keep trying. I keep learning things about my body. The thing I love about doing a challenge like this for myself is, first of all, I realize how undisciplined I am in a lot of areas. I realize how hard it is. It makes me have sympathy for people who are trying to get off things like whatever. Smoking, drugs, alcohol. It's not easy to make change. We condition our brains to the amount of sugar and the amount of processed food that we eat. We just condition ourselves and we feel like we're going to die if we don't have it, right? And what I love about a challenge like this is it brings up all your drama. It brings up all your emotion. Because when we have hard things in our lives and when we have hard times and when we have anxiety and depression and fear and all the things that we have, we never let ourselves fully process that if we're always buffering against it with food and alcohol and spending or whatever. So it's just so much easier to eat a chocolate chip cookie than to feel disappointed. It's so much easier to have ice cream than to feel the gnawing hurt that you have in a relationship, right? It's just so much easier. But here's what I promise you. When you numb away your life with food, you don't get to live your whole life. You don't get to live the full experience of your life. And when you stop doing that with food, what you will learn, the things that you will learn about yourself and the trust that you will gain with yourself will serve you in so many ways. You will not only get good at that, but you will just get good at your life. You'll get good at doing things that are hard. You'll get good. Let me just say, we get good at what we do over and over. So if we continue to over and over indulge ourselves in things that we know aren't good for us in the long run, do we just get good at that? We just get better and better at eating cookies and ice cream. And if you ask yourself when you're in your right mind, do I want to make a whole lifestyle of that? I really don't. I want to feed my body what it really needs so that I have the energy to live the life I really want to live. Now, do I occasionally want to have sourdough bread and chocolate chip cookies? Yes. I just don't want to make that my lifestyle. So, what I want you to know about this is that this is going to be hard, but it also is pretty simple. If you follow the protocol that I set for you in the first email, you'll lose 1 pound a day for the first probably 5, 6, 7 days. And by day 5, at the end of the challenge, you'll feel so differently. You will feel clear. You'll have so much energy. You'll be sleeping better. There'll be so many things that are better. You'll want to keep going. If you quit at day 2, you're going to be like, oh, this is hard. I'm withdrawing from sugar and I'm withdrawing from all of these things. We don't realize how much the junk that we're eating, the processed food and all the sugar, we don't realize how much that is affecting us. And when you get off that 4, 5, 6 days, you start to feel amazing. And the other thing is you start to feel like I can do anything. Like, wow, this is amazing. Now, the other thing that I'll say is that for people who I helped quit smoking when I was working in a clinic and people that I helped lose weight, sometimes it would take them 10 times to actually then lose weight for life. Like they would have to keep trying over and over. They would tweak it. They would try something different or whatever. So what I don't want you to do is use your past or even use this challenge. Let's say you do this challenge great for 4 or 5 days and you fall off the wagon. Don't use that as evidence against yourself that you can't do it. Use that as evidence for yourself that you're closer to figuring it out for yourself. So it's a really good chance to work on your relationship with yourself, the trust that you have with yourself. Can you honor your word, what you say you're going to do? Even when it feels hard, even when it's icky, the thing that's going to happen is you're going to have, here's what I bet, because here's what happens with me. You don't realize how much negative emotion you actually have in your life until you do something like this, because life is hard without cookies and it's hard without ice cream. Because then you have to feel the negative emotion that you're feeling that made you want to go have that thing in the first place. Now, the trick is you don't actually have less negative emotion by eating the cookie because you have the negative emotion that you had that made you want to eat the cookie. Let's say you had a fight with your spouse and you go, oh, it makes me so mad. I'm just going to eat some cookies. How many of you have had angry sessions of eating just to make you feel better from a fight you had with your spouse, with your child, or whatever, right? You don't want to feel that. So you eat cookies, you temporarily feel better. But then comes the what? The guilt and the shame from overeating, right? You have the guilt and the shame from overeating. And that guilt and shame doesn't feel good either. So now you have that guilt and shame, plus you have the negative emotion that you have from the fight. So now you have a lot more net negative emotion. If you just would have sat with yourself and processed what you were going through the first time instead of reaching for the cookie, reaching for shopping, reaching for scrolling through Instagram or whatever, then you get really good at processing your emotions. Not many of us are good at doing that. So this is going to be a great challenge for you because it's going to help you see how many things you're buffering away with food. How many things you're temporarily making better, but then not really. So it's going to bring up a lot of really good stuff. We're going to talk about all of that next week. The videos next week are going to be so helpful, but I wanted you to have this early so you know what we're doing, so you get the first email, so you know what the protocol is. You have time to clean out your pantry of all the, what do you have in your pantry? Tell me your guilty pleasure. What's the thing that as soon as you saw this in your feed, like Lose Weight with Dr. Edie, what's the one thing you're like, oh, I'm going to have to give up this for however long? Tell me what the thing is that you're going to have to go clean out of your house, clean out of your pantry. What's the thing you're most worried about that you're like, for me, it honestly was sourdough. I had to put my sourdough starter in the fridge for a couple weeks. I haven't made sourdough, I think, in 2.5 or 3 weeks. It's funny because my daughter came home this week and she goes, where's sourdough? I'm like, yeah, mom has discovered she can't eat sourdough every day. Doesn't mean I'm not going to make it again. Of course I am. But I obviously have learned I can't eat it 21 days straight in a row with butter, okay? Okay, let me tell you. Oh, Amanda, I love it. Cheez-Its, Coke, chocolate, Hershey's, stuffed Oreos, Ruffles, ice cream. You guys got some good ones. Wine. Oh, good one. Yep. Let's give up the alcohol for... that's the other thing too, you guys. Alcohol, first of all, it adds so many calories, but it's also another way to buffer away our negative emotion. How many times have you come home and you're like, oh, if I just had a glass of wine, everything would seem better. You're not letting yourself feel and process your emotions when you do that. Ice cream. Kelly says, keep making the sourdough. Just send it to me. Cheetos, Sprite, peanut butter M&Ms. I love how specific y'all are. You know, you're not just in general like chips. Like you're not like you're no. This is for real. Like you're specific about your things. So keepmamahealthy.com. Let's do this together. I'll get you jump started. If you decide you want to jump in and do the whole month with us in Life Mentoring School, we would love to have you. If you don't, you'll get so much just out of the free challenge that I think it'll put you on a good pathway. The other thing I want to say is I am going to be sharing a lot of my meals on my wellness Instagram. So I have had this Instagram forever. We just resurrected it recently because I haven't been posting on there for a long time. We just resurrected it. It's called Sisters Well. Sisters Well. On Instagram, I'll put the link to that here. I will be posting a lot of my meals starting Monday, the things that I'm eating. The protocol, again, is in the first email. It's the most simple protocol ever. Is it terrible that you're making a chocolate cake while listening? No, Dawn, I'm getting ready to go to a birthday party. And that's the thing, too, is that when you start a protocol like this, just make your exceptions. Just say, like, on Saturday, I'm going to this and I'm going to have cake. And because what will happen is if you put it on your protocol, you're still honoring what you said you were going to do, right? So then when you eat it, you don't have guilt and shame, which makes you spiral into not just eating cake, but then eating everything you can in your pantry. If you plan it ahead of time and go, I'm going to have cake on Saturday, you have it, you don't feel, I mean, you might feel like icky from it because of all the sugar and flour, but you won't be so mad at yourself. So we're going to teach you how to do that, to make a protocol, to make exceptions. I wouldn't do more than 1 or 2 a week when you're first starting if you really want to jumpstart your weight loss. But this is going to be really fun. So 5-day weight loss challenge starting Monday. What's the email for the emails? You go to keepmamahealthy.com. We'll start on Monday. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. I'll see you then. All right. Share this with a friend. Do this with somebody and jumpstart your quarantine weight loss with me.